The story begins many years ago in a beautiful village in England, where we see a young boy named Harry. Harry is very different from the other children because he helps everyone in the village. This is because Harry is an orphan who used to live with a blacksmith, and the blacksmith loved him like his own son. One day when Harry went to collect wood for the blacksmith, he saw some children playing near a mysterious forest. In that forest lived two strange, magical creatures who were secretly watching the children from behind the trees. Among the children were Princess Sarah from the village's kingdom and Prince David from the nearby kingdom. Sarah told all the children, "Let's play a wedding game." The noise from the children caught the attention of a witch living in the forest. She became very angry. While playing, Prince David told Princess Sarah, "I will marry you." But Sarah said, "I will not marry you." Just then, Harry came looking for the children. Seeing him, Sarah said to David, "I will marry Harry because he is strong and kind." While the children are talking, the witch comes out from between the rocks and angrily says, "How dare you make noise in my forest?" The other children run away, but Harry and Sarah hide behind a rock to watch what the witch will do. The witch noticed them hiding. She used her magic to bring two wind demons to life and told them to chase Harry and Sarah out of the forest. When the demons attacked, Harry and Sarah run away. When they reached the edge of the forest, the demons returned to the witch. But David, who was hiding behind a rock, has seen everything. When the witch finds out, she calls David to her and asks, "Aren't you afraid, child?" David answers, "Yes, I am afraid. Please let me go, and I will do whatever you say." Hearing this, the witch says, "Because of a curse, neither I nor my powers can leave this forest. But when the time comes, you must do something for me outside. In return, I will grant you one wish." David agrees, and the witch says, "Good. Now go away because I don't want any humans in this forest." David leaves. After that, the scene shifts to 15 years later, where Harry has now grown into a young man. One day, while he is bringing wood for the blacksmith as usual, he meets Princess Sarah on the village road. Harry says to her, "The new flour mill you're building in the village will really help the people here." Sarah replies, "It has just started being built. By the way, you also keep helping the whole village with your strength." They talk for a while, but then a craftsman asks Harry for help lifting a heavy tree branch, and Harry starts helping him. After some time, when Harry reaches home, his blacksmith mentor asks, "Why did it take you so long to bring the wood?" Harry replies, "I was helping the workers at the new mill in the village." The blacksmith says, "You have more physical strength than others, but that doesn't mean everyone should always rely on you for every task. Soon you will leave the village to find work outside. How will the villagers manage then?" Harry answers, "As long as I am here, I will keep helping people with my strength. What will happen after I leave, I do not know." Meanwhile, on the other side, we see a girl named Ruby trying to fill water from a well. She cannot carry 4 buckets of water by herself, so she asks other women for help, but no one helps her. So she goes directly to Harry to ask for help. The blacksmith says, "The villagers never let him rest." Harry stops his work, goes to the well, lifts all 4 buckets filled with water at once, and carries them on his shoulders to Ruby's house. But as soon as he opens the weak door of Ruby's house, it breaks because of his strength. Seeing this, Ruby's father tells him, "Since you know you have so much strength, you should work very gently." Harry nods in agreement. At the palace, Princess Sarah asks her treasurer to bring the remaining supplies for the mill. Then she goes to her guardian. The guardian says, "Princess, I have been very worried for you. Ever since your parents died many years ago, I have taken care of all your responsibilities. That is why I want you to get married and rule this kingdom with your husband, because I am getting old." The princess replies, "I don't want to get married now. Right now, I am building a flour mill for the people of the village. This will bring progress to our kingdom." The guardian says, "You can do this work even after marriage, but all the young men I have brought here, you have not liked any of them." Sarah says, "If I ever like someone, I will tell you." The guardian replies, "I have talked about your marriage with another prince. You know him, and soon he will come here with a marriage proposal." Sarah frowns and says, "I will only marry if I like him, otherwise not." Saying this, she walks away. After that, we once again see Harry with the blacksmith. The blacksmith asks him, "When are you leaving to find work outside the village?" Harry replies, "Princess Sarah has given me a task to build an iron bed. As soon as that's done, I'll be leaving." The blacksmith responds, "Ever since the villagers found out that you're going to leave, they've all been very worried. They say that without you, who will help them with the difficult tasks?" Harry calmly says, "They'll slowly get used to it." The next morning, we see Prince David from the neighboring kingdom being dressed by his servant. The servant says, "You've wanted to marry Princess Sarah since childhood, and now her guardian has promised you her hand in marriage. Your wish is finally coming true." David, excited, says, "Place the gifts in the carriage. We'll leave tonight with the marriage proposal for Princess Sarah. The journey is long, so hurry." Meanwhile, deep in the forest, the witch is shown getting irritated by the noise from the construction of the mill. The next day, as Prince David arrives in the village with his servant. On the way, he meets Harry, who is carrying the iron bed for Princess Sarah. David asks, "Who are you?" Harry tells him his name, and David immediately recognizes him. Still, with a proud royal attitude, David says, "Go tell the princess that her future husband, Prince David, has arrived." He even hands Harry a gold coin, but Harry knows David from childhood too, so he replies, "You should tell her yourself, because I don't think she's going to marry you." Hearing this, Prince David gets annoyed and walks into a nearby restaurant. Harry gives the gold coin to David's servant and heads off toward the palace. The servant, scared that the prince might see him, quickly hides the coin in his mouth. Meanwhile, the restaurant owner sees Harry and greets him happily. Just then, David comes back and tells his servant, "Prepare the carriage, we'll go to the palace ourselves." But the servant, with the coin still in his mouth, just nods silently. Irritated, David kicks him hard, causing the servant to swallow the coin. Nervously, he says, "My lord, the blacksmith is fitting horseshoes to the horses. You'll have to walk." On the other side, Harry reaches the palace with the iron bed. Princess Sarah says, "You've completed the task on time after all." Harry replies, "Yes, because you know I'm leaving the village soon." Princess Sarah says, "I never wanted you to leave, but first please place the bed inside the palace." Harry picks up the bed and carries it inside. At that moment, Prince David also arrives with his gifts and tells the princess, "Your guardian has arranged our marriage. I've brought diamonds and pearls for you as a gift." But Sarah calmly replies, "I don't want to marry you, so take your gift and leave." Hearing this, David becomes angry. Sarah Guardian, watching everything from the window, quickly comes over and says to David, "Please don't take her words to heart. I tried everything, but she simply refuses to agree to the marriage." David says firmly, "She will have to marry me." From another palace window, Harry also sees everything. Frustrated by Sarah's rejection, David storms off toward the village and tells his servant, "You stay here. I'm going into the forest." Later, after finishing the work, Harry comes to Princess Sarah and says, "Your work is done. I'm leaving the village today." Sarah replies quietly, "I'll wait for your return." And with that, Harry sets off on his journey. On the other side, we see David going into the mysterious forest. He says to the witch, "I need your help to marry the princess." The witch replies, "You've come here after so many years. I will help you, but you have to do something for me too." David asks, "What do you want me to do?" The witch says, "Lately the villagers have been making a lot of noise. They're building a new mill near the forest. Because of this, there will be more noise and more people coming here. I don't want anyone to disturb the ritual I'm doing to increase my powers, so you must clear the entire village." David says, "But how can I do that? Why would the villagers leave their homes just because I say so? And where would they even go?" The witch replies, "I will do something that will make the village unlivable. The people will be forced to leave. Then you can take them into your kingdom. That will help me, and in return, I'll help you marry the princess." The witch also says, "Now go and tell the villagers to start packing their things. I will begin my plan." David heads to the village. Meanwhile, the witch creates her 2 wind demons and tells them, "Block all the water sources coming from the jungle to the village." The demons do as she says and dry up all the water sources in both the forest and the village. While David is filling water on the way, he suddenly notices the water has stopped. He realizes it's the witch's doing. Back in the village, when the water in the wells dries up, the villagers are shocked. They all gather and start wondering what happened. When Princess Sarah hears the news, she rushes to the villagers. They say to her, "How can we live here without water? We'll die of thirst." The princess tries to calm them down. "We'll find some solution." She drops a stone into the well, but it's so deep that no sound comes back. She understands the water is completely gone. She tells the villagers, "All the water for the village comes from the jungle. Something must be wrong there. We have to go and find out." Hearing this, her advisor says, "But the witch lives there. No one dares go into the forest because of her." The princess replies, "We won't know anything unless we go there. That's why I'm going. Will anyone come with me?" But no one agrees to go with her out of fear of the witch. So Princess Sarah decides to go into the forest alone. When she enters the forest, she starts searching for the witch. Meanwhile, the same 2 magical forest creatures from 15 years ago are secretly watching her. When she can't find the witch, she goes deeper into the forest. At the same time, Harry also enters the jungle. The 2 magical creatures spot the witch's wind demons flying in the air. While trying to avoid them, they accidentally bump into Harry. Harry asks them, "What are you 2 doing? And where has all the water from the jungle and village gone?" They reply, "Maybe the princess came to find out the same thing." Harry asks, "The princess is here too? Where is she?" They say, "To know that, you have to play a game with us." To distract them, Harry throws his stick high into the air and says, "Catch this!" But because of Harry's strength, The stick goes very high and only falls down after a few minutes. The two creatures are amazed. Then Harry says, "If you take me to Sarah quickly, I'll play more games with you." The two creatures are happy and take Harry to the part of the forest where the witch lives among the rocks. Meanwhile, Prince David arrives at Princess Sarah's palace and speaks to her guardian saying, "The village has run dry. It will soon be deserted. There's still time. Tell the princess to marry me." The guardian replies, "I've heard that the princess has gone into the forest. If you wish to speak with her, you must go there." David says, "Fine, I'll go to her. But you and the rest of the villagers should prepare to come to my kingdom, because water will never return here." Meanwhile, Princess Sarah reaches the witch. The witch warns her, "Leave the village as soon as possible. I don't want a single human near this forest." Sarah replies, "That won't happen. The villagers have lived here for generations." Just then, Harry arrives with the two forest creatures and hides behind a rock, listening to everything. The witch says, "I've ordered my wind demons to dry up all the water sources in your village, in the forest. Without water, you will all die anyway. It's better if you leave now." Sarah responds, "This forest doesn't only belong to you. Humans have equal right to it." Angrily, the witch says, "I don't care. I don't want any disturbance in my ritual. Just marry David and go away from here." Sarah says, "That will never happen. I will never let your plan succeed." The witch says, "Your villagers have no other option," and then she leaves to rest. Back in the village, David and his servant tell the people, "Water will never return here. Pack your things and get ready to come to my kingdom. There you will get homes and land to farm." The helpless villagers, though unwilling, start preparing to leave. Meanwhile, in the forest, Harry makes a plan to trick the two magical creatures. He distracts them and quickly runs to Sarah. Seeing him, Sarah's happy and says, "You haven't left yet?" Harry replies, "I only went to the edge of the village. While I was filling water, it suddenly stopped. I realized it was the witch's doing. That's why I came back." At the same time, David arrives in the forest carrying a chest. The two forest creatures see him, and David asks, "Have you seen the princess?" Then the two creatures say, "Yes, but you'll have to play a game with us." David tricks them by saying, "First, pick up this chest and take me to her. Then I'll play a game with you." They pick up the chest and take David to Sarah, but once they get there, the creatures suddenly catch Harry and say, "You tricked us." At that moment, the witch wakes up from her sleep and arrives. David, angry, points his sword at Harry and says to Sarah, "Marry me quietly or I'll kill Harry." But Harry quickly pushes the creatures aside and runs away with Sarah. David becomes frustrated, but the witch tells him, "Don't worry, she'll come back. She has no choice." In the village, David's servant gathers everyone and says, "Get in line. As soon as my master returns, we'll leave." But suddenly he has stomach pain because of the cursed coin, and he runs off to the toilet. Meanwhile, Harry and Sarah find a safe spot and talk. Sarah says, "This is all David's plan, and the witch is taking advantage of it. David wants to marry me, and the witch wants the village to be emptied. But I won't let either of them succeed. I won't leave the village, and I will not marry David." Harry replies, "I have a plan. The witch cannot leave the forest, and her power's in her black cloak. We need to find a way to take that cloak from her." Sarah asks, "But how can we take her cloak? She always wears it." Harry says, "You'll have to lie to David. Tell him you're ready to marry him. I'll handle the rest." According to the plan, Sarah goes to David and says, "For the good of my people, I agree to marry you." David is overjoyed. He doesn't know that Harry is hiding behind a rock. The witch says, "Marry her right now and take her away." David tells the creatures to open the chest. Inside is a bridal dress. The creatures hand it to Sarah. Annoyed, she puts it on. David is happy to see her dressed as a bride. But suddenly, Sarah picks up a stick and attacks David. David pulls out his sword. They fight, but Sarah is skilled and blocks his attacks. Finally, she knocks the sword from his hand. Hearing the noise, the witch wakes up again and angrily says, "What is this drama?" Sarah replies, "I will not marry him." The witch angrily begins chanting a spell to summon her wind demons. At that moment, Harry grabs the witch's black cloak from behind and runs away with it. He throws it into the air with his stick. As soon as the cloak crosses the forest edge, it bursts into flames and vanishes. Then the witch becomes very weak, and water returns to the jungle and village. Seeing this, the princess happily hugs Harry. David gets angry and starts to leave, but the two creatures catch him and say, "Now you will always play with us?" After that, the princess says to the witch, "You can still live here peacefully. No one can force you to leave." Hearing this, the witch becomes happy. Then the princess returns to the village. While saying goodbye to Harry, she says, "I will wait for your return." Harry then sets off on his journey. Sarah tells the villagers, "Now you don't need to go anywhere." Hearing this, everyone becomes happy and chases away David's servant. And here this fantasy story ends. If you like this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I will meet you in the next video. Until then, take care. Goodbye.